Another intense midweek in the NFL has arrived, and the energy around the league is reaching a boiling point as the playoff race tightens and every game now feels like a postseason battle. Around the football world, fans are buzzing about broken streaks, superstar performances, shocking struggles, and teams either seizing their moment or watching their seasons slip through their fingers. In the AFC, dynasties are being challenged. Windows are opening and closing at lightning speed, and quarterbacks who once looked unstoppable now face uncertainty. Meanwhile, in the NFC, battles for division supremacy are becoming brutal chess matches, and no race is more dramatic right now than what's unfolding in the NFC East, where history shows that nothing is ever guaranteed and repeat champions rarely survive the chaos. Welcome back to Cowboys News Reports, your daily home for the latest Dallas Cowboys updates, breaking NFL headlines, and everything you need to know about America's team as the playoff push heats up. This season has become a roller coaster of doubt, belief, collapse, and revival. And right now, the Cowboys are living proof that the NFL rewards resilience and momentum when it matters most. Over the last several weeks, Dallas has undergone one of the most stunning transformations seen anywhere in football this year. A team once written off, criticized, and counted out has surged back into the conversation, and the shift has not been subtle. The defense looks reborn. The offense looks sharper. The energy is different, and suddenly the Cowboys are no longer chasing hope. They're chasing destiny. While much of the national conversation drifts between quarterback debates, shocking stat lines, and controversial coaching calls, the reality is that Kansas City's long-standing grip over the AFC is finally showing cracks. 7 straight trips to the AFC Championship once seemed untouchable, but now that streak teeters on the edge. The opportunity for rivals has never been greater. Yet questions surround whether players like Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson truly have the support systems around them right now to take full advantage of that opening. Windows in the NFL close as fast as they open, and hesitation is often punished. Teams must strike when the moment arrives, or history forgets what could have been. Across the league, jaw-dropping plays continue to redefine what's possible on a football field. One of the most spectacular catches seen in years surfaced quietly without the viral attention it deserved, a reminder that brilliance doesn't always get the spotlight it earns. Meanwhile, toughness at the quarterback position remains a double-edged sword. Fearless young passers are earning praise for their grit, but durability still determines careers. Each hit absorbed is another question mark added to the future, and the NFL never forgives recklessness for long. Defensive collapse has also entered the spotlight, especially for teams that once prided themselves on dominance. The Philadelphia Eagles, long known for trench warfare and physical intimidation, have shown alarming vulnerability. Being gashed on the ground by opposing running backs at historic levels isn't just a bad week. It's a warning siren for what awaits in the postseason if adjustments don't come fast. Playoff football doesn't allow room for soft edges, missed tackles, or hesitation at the point of attack. And this brings everything back to the Dallas Cowboys, who are now surging directly into the heart of the NFC East race. Jerry Jones recently spoke with rare clarity about where this team stands and what lies ahead. According to him, the clearest path remains capturing the division outright. Over the past few weeks, he has watched his team evolve, grow tougher, grow smarter, and grow more unified. What once felt like a long-shot miracle now feels like a legitimate possibility. The roster is no longer fractured by doubt or reactive football. It is driven by cohesion and belief. Truthfully, the playoffs didn't suddenly begin in January for Dallas. They began weeks ago when every remaining game turned into a must-win battle. The margin for error shrank to nearly zero, and the Cowboys responded with precision. Against the odds, probabilities now climb and fall with each result. One win dramatically boosts postseason chances, one loss nearly buries them. Every snap now carries playoff weight, not just emotionally, but mathematically. What makes this resurgence even more remarkable is the complete personality shift on defense. The Cowboys no longer resemble the unit that stumbled early in the season. Personnel additions, returning health, and evolving schemes have reshaped Dallas into one of the most disruptive defenses in football. The front looks aggressive, the side-to-side range is restored, and the secondary is finally synchronized. Layers of complexity and pressure packages, disguised fronts, and unexpected rotations have turned confusion into clarity and hesitation into ferocity. Opposing offenses no longer coast into comfortable game plans. They're forced into survival mode. Offensively, the Cowboys never truly lost their firepower, but execution and rhythm had wavered earlier in the year. Now, timing has returned. The connection between the quarterback and primary weapons has resharpened, opening lanes downfield and unlocking space underneath. Dallas now stretches defenses horizontally and vertically again, forcing opponents into uncomfortable matchups and coverage decisions they can't always survive. One single play captures the identity of this Cowboys revival better than any stat line ever could. In a tight national primetime matchup, a ball came loose unexpectedly. And while chaos unfolded, one player sprinted from the far edge of the field without hesitation, never assuming the play was over. While others froze, Dallas attacked the moment, secured the ball, and flipped momentum. That single act of full-field effort revealed everything about this team's transformation. Every player now believes the next snap belongs to them. Inside the organization, that play carried more meaning than touchdowns and highlight reels. The message was clear. This team is no longer defined by isolated star performances, but by collective urgency. That urgency didn't exist earlier in the year when Dallas suffered a stunning home loss that sent shockwaves through the fan base. That version of the Cowboys feels like a distant memory now. A month may sound short, but in the NFL, identity can be completely rewritten in 4 weeks. Now looming ahead is a massive December showdown against the Detroit Lions, a team with their own complicated story. Detroit once looked like a franchise on the verge of permanent arrival, young, fearless, physical, and loaded with depth. 2 years ago, they stood on the doorstep of the Super Bowl, leading deep into the NFC Championship before the dream collapsed. At the time, the future looked limitless, but in the NFL, projections mean nothing if momentum vanishes. Detroit now faces injury concerns along the offensive line, uncertainty in the secondary, and questions surrounding their stars. The heartbeat of their offense remains under scrutiny, and without that emotional engine, the entire structure feels fragile. The Lions pride themselves on grit and physicality, but identity only matters when it's executed consistently. The Cowboys now step directly into that test. Despite injuries, Detroit still features dangerous weapons in the backfield and explosive athletes who can turn short runs into long nightmares. Their home crowd remains one of the loudest in football, and December games indoors still produce fast, furious scoring opportunities. But there's no disguising the reality. Dallas matches up favorably against a secondary that has struggled to contain elite passing attacks. The dangers multiply when coverage leans heavily toward man principles against receivers built to thrive in isolation. What's even more striking is how rapidly perception has flipped. Less than 2 years after standing on the brink of the Super Bowl, Detroit now finds itself projected by many to miss the playoffs entirely. Financial constraints loom, contract uncertainty hangs over the future, and the sense of desperation has begun to creep into decision-making. When a team starts coaching not just to win, but to survive, everything changes. For Dallas, this is not just another road game. It is another elimination test in a season that has turned into one continuous postseason simulation. Every week now determines whether this Cowboys surge becomes a footnote in a chaotic year or transforms into one of the most improbable playoff runs in recent memory. The rematch with division rivals still looms, and the gap to first place remains tight enough that no lead feels secure. Remaining schedules across the NFC reveal the pressure unfolding in parallel. Some teams benefit from softer stretches. Others face brutal gauntlets. Dallas knows it must treat every opponent as a direct obstacle to January football. There are no shortcuts left. No statement wins to admire without consequence. Every victory simply earns another obligation. What separates this Cowboys team now is mental sharpness. Earlier in the season, adversity lingered. Missed tackles led to frustration, breakdowns fed doubt, and momentum bled away. That cycle has reversed. Now, when something goes wrong, the response is violent and immediate. Defensive stops ignite offensive surges. Offensive explosions relieve defensive pressure. The roster is feeding off itself instead of fracturing inward. Around the league, playoff pressure is exposing flaws in veterans, shaking coaching tenures, and forcing once stable organizations into public reckoning. Former players are speaking out. Legacy franchises are staring into identity crises. Meanwhile, young quarterbacks are learning that December football doesn't reward highlights, only execution. For the Cowboys, survival now depends on turning belief into consistency. A playoff-caliber offense paired with a suddenly dominant defense has created a dangerous formula that nobody wants to face. Teams that once circled Dallas as an easy matchup now view them as a volatile threat capable of detonating entire game plans within minutes. Odds may still lean slightly against them, projections may remain cautious, and scars from earlier losses haven't vanished. But football never rewards memory. It only rewards the team that lines up faster, hits harder, adjusts quicker, and believes longer. As Week 14 approaches, the league shifts into postseason DNA. Division races fracture. Wildcard hopes narrow. Coaches tighten rotations. Players push through injuries that would have sidelined them in September. Every game from here forward carries January weight. The Cowboys no longer stand outside that pressure. They stand directly inside it. And for the first time this season, they look built for it. This is no longer a question of can they. It is now a matter of how far they are willing to carry this momentum when the margin for error disappears entirely. The NFC East remains volatile. The path remains steep. The road remains unforgiving. And yet, Dallas no longer walks it with hesitation. The playoffs didn't begin in January for the Cowboys. They began the moment this team chose to change who it was.